2 games, 2 draws. Is it the start you're hoping for?
I think you always want more. We would have loved to have won one of the games. We tried to win them both. I think we had enough chances to take at least one of them for a win, but it wasn't to be. The lad, like I said on Tuesday evening, the lads are emptying the tank. They're giving us everything. We've created some really good opportunities. We've looked solid defensively, so there's loads of positives for us to go over. The work rate of the team, the togetherness of the feeling inside the stadium with the supporters has been fantastic. We obviously would have loved to have had a couple more points along the way, but it's been a solid start.
Yeah, absolutely. So looking at the clean sheets, obviously it's a positive thing to do, but from that sort of attacking point of view, you're facing Leicester on Saturday. What is going to be reshuffled? What's happening so that you can make sure you actually do deliver and get those goals in the back? Get the ball in the back of the net.
Yeah, of course. I think the worrying thing would be if we hadn't created any opportunities, and we have. So that's been the good part. Of course, we want to create more, and we want to have more quality chances. We spoke about that coming in the building, and we keep going after that work. We've only had a few training sessions with the group. We've had another one today, so we're trying to get as much information across as we possibly can to keep our creation going up in the right trajectory. Like I say, we've created enough opportunities to win either of the 2 games, and unfortunately for us, one hasn't gone in. But we have to keep the positivity around the performance level, the endeavour and the structure of the group. And once one drops, confidence rises, momentum builds, and then you're off and running.
Yeah, absolutely. And we've obviously spoken about the new signings. They've had a chance to have a run now. How do you think that's been? How much of an impact do you think it's had on the team?
Yeah, it's been really good. I think Miles Pat-Harris has been absolutely fantastic. I think he's going to be a very, very good player. I really like him as a boy. Obviously, he was signed before my time here, but he was one I knew about coming into the building. I think he's great. Eunice had 45 minutes on Saturday and had that booking, so we had to take him out of the action. Jamie McDonald came on Tuesday evening, and I thought he did great. For the time he's on the pitch, I think he's a fantastic investment for the football club. He's going to be very good for us for a number of years. I'm dead certain about that. Jinu's in the building now and has trained for a couple of days, but I've spoken about already giving him that time to adapt. So we're pleased with the business we've done. Hopefully before the end of the window there might be maybe 1 or 2 more. We're working hard behind the scenes, and we'll see where that goes.
Yeah, 1 or 2 more. What sort of areas are you looking at to try and...
I think we need to be open-minded with that, just to make sure that what I've kind of found over the years in the January window is that you could never close your mind off to what opportunities may present themselves. So we need to be open-minded with that and make sure we come out as strong as we possibly can at the other end. And so if those signings come up, then great. If they don't, then we're really pleased with the group we have in the building. We're really pleased with the signings we've brought in, and we'll move forward.
Yeah, you said you mentioned about the fans and how you really appreciated the support so far. You've obviously had a big international signing recently with Janu. He's now in the building. How do you think that's going to help sort of broaden the scope of Oxford? Do you hope that it does?
Yeah, it's huge for us as a football club to have such a big signing, an international signing like Janu. He's really settled in. He's got a lovely smile. He comes in every day happy. He's really happy to be here, and we've met some of his family, and it's been great for us. Again, it's just making sure that we're patient enough with him, that we give him that time to adapt so he can perform at his best. That's all we want as a manager and a head coach. I just want to make sure I give him the platform to be at his best, and that's really important.
Thank you.
Thank you, Jax.
Matt, you talked about the energy levels and the work that you're trying to do. Do you have to balance the work that you want to do as quickly as possible with the fact that there's a finite amount of energy?
Yeah, really have to balance that. Because the players have to be ready to perform and have their energy for a Saturday. So we're very limited in terms of the amount of training we can do, especially in a 3-game week. So this week's been a lot about work in the meeting room, discussions, meetings, and limited amounts that we can do on the training ground because we need to preserve the energy for the match day. So coming into the building and then so soon going into a 3-game week throws its challenges, but just makes you think differently and tries to get your information across in different ways.
People say that you bring energy. Are you conscious of having to do that just at the moment?
Yes, I think it's really important that the leader leads in the way that he believes is right. and that's what I love, to have energy in my work, in my life. I think it's really important that we go about things the way we believe, and that's what I believe in, and that positivity and having that energy, especially being new into the building. I think it's really important that I try and bring that. But it's not false either. It's how I believe in, right? And I'm loving being here. I said to Jex earlier on about the welcome I've had. I feel at home already, and I'm just so energised to do the best job I possibly can.
You go away from home for the first time. I think you're going to have well over a couple of thousand Oxford fans at Leicester. One of those grounds that you could, if you're a team at the bottom of the table and not that long out of League One, be overawed at going to. How do you combat that if you have to?
So I believe that we're taking a record away following for the season. I think I'm correct in saying. So first and foremost, it's just an amazing following from our supporters. And we have to go on and put a show on for them. We have to go and put a performance that they're proud of. And we have to approach the game in the manner that we believe can get us a result. And we'll be doing that.
Is it important, though, that you don't go chasing too hard or try and chase the win that you maybe thought you should have had on Saturday or Tuesday night?
Yeah, just about going about our work. If the results had been differently from Saturday and Tuesday, I'd have gone about this game exactly the same way. It's just looking at it in isolation. I think what's really important for us right now is to take each game in isolation and approach it how we see fit and what we feel is right, not because of the situation or the perception. It's just about doing what we believe is right for the weekend's game, and that's all we'll do.
And you say in isolation, are you a manager that worries much about the opposition or only your own team?
Probably both. I think we have to be aware of the opposition. You have to be tactically understanding of what they bring. But you also want to project your team in the best light you possibly can, and be able to... every team has positives and every team has situations that you might be able to make the most of. So I think for us it's being tactically aware, but also being positive about what we're doing.
Just a quick couple on the transfer window. Still got 10 days to go. Do we have a little fallow period, do you think? Do you need to get players out before more come in?
I think there'll be, I think the squad is probably bigger than what we want coming out the end of the window, and we don't want unhappy players. If players believe that they can play more elsewhere, then that'll be conversations that I'm willing to have. The lads, to a man, have been brilliant so far, welcoming me and the coaching staff into the building. But yeah, you want to get that balance right between competition for places, but not too many, because we don't want unhappy people around. But yeah, those conversations will be going on behind the scenes until the end of the window.
And have you had interest in some of your players?
There's been interest in some of the lads, yeah. There's been interest in some of the players. I think that's just common. In January, there'll be interesting players that you don't want to lose, and there'll be interesting players that you'd be willing to have conversations about. And like I say, some players will not want to leave; they want to be here. Some players might see that it's best to be elsewhere. That's human nature, and that's just life, and it's life in football. So, yeah, like I say, those conversations will remain private behind the scenes, and we'll do what's best for Oxford United. But we also have to take into account what's best for the individual as well.
Just finding. It seemed like there were 1 or 2 knocks after the game on Tuesday night. How is everybody going into the game at Leicester? Yeah,
there's nothing serious coming off the back of it. There's 1 or 2 that we've got to give until tomorrow to see if they're going to travel, if they're going to be able to play on the weekend. And coming off the 2 games, we're going to have to give them until tomorrow before we make a couple of late decisions, which we will take as long as we can.
Thanks, Matt.
Thanks, John.
Matt, obviously no goals just yet, but not short of chances. Obviously Stan Mills at the end, Kieran Brown on Saturday, and then a few again on Tuesday. Is that one that you feel like once you get that first one, confidence is there, then just waiting for that bit of confidence, and then the floodgates will kind of open?
Yeah, momentum is huge, isn't it, in sport? And it's hard to quantify that, but we really believe that we're getting closer to that. I think everyone I've spoken to and everyone who's seen the games has seen the opportunities we've created. Especially on Saturday, there were some big chances and another couple of big ones on Tuesday evening. So it's not for the want of trying. And I'll never criticise anyone for missing, because I'd rather that than us not be creating. I want us to keep creating opportunities. Would have loved to have had a couple of goals, but it's not to be. So we have to make sure we keep going after that creation.
And first couple of weeks working with Mike Dodds, how are you two getting on? What's that connection like?
Brilliant. Yeah, I think he's brilliant. Obviously, I did a lot of research before went into that relationship, working relationship. I think he's great. The lads seem to really enjoy working with him. I think his training, his coaching, and as a teammate of mine on the coaching staff, I think he's been great. Really enjoying working together, and I think he's a fantastic guy and a fantastic coach, and he's contributing in a big way.
Are you heading down tonight to the under-18?
I am.
Yeah.
I am, yeah. So we've got the last couple of hours work here. We've obviously a game to prepare for at the weekend, transfer window, Youth Cup game tonight. There's plenty of stuff to be doing, and I'm looking forward to watching the boys in action.
Great, well, enjoy.
Cheers, guys.
Are you one that would look to, if you could, get some of those younger players in and around the first team squad?
Yeah, if they're good in, it's cliche, right? If they deserve an opportunity, for me, like absolutely. I believe in promoting youth. I believe in seeing young players thrive. I've loved building relationships with some, real good young players in my time in management already. And to see them either retain when you work together or keep that relationship and see them thrive when you move on, I just think it's a massive thing in life to be able to see young people with all their hopes and dreams go and fulfill them. I just think it's incredible to be a part of. And if we can promote from within here, it'd be fantastic. But we have to make sure they're the right ones. We don't want to expose a young player to a situation that they're not ready for. But absolutely, it'd be fantastic to see some of our own come through the system.